Okay, class, again, good morning, and our discussion will cover lesson 3 of our unit 1 from this module, lesson 3 and lesson 4. Previously, we have discussed some parts ng lesson 3 then. We have finished lesson 2, and then we have introduced some topics of lesson 3 tsaka some of lesson 4. So, I'll just give you a recap first for this. So, last time we have discussed working with layers. So, we have discussed on how to merge and rasterize layers, group, and then also we have discussed blending modes. Um, so here, ito yung discussion natin nung last time, no? So we have discussed yung mga color adjustments natin, yung may brightness, contrast levels, hue saturation, vibrance, etc. So we have applied all of this. I mean, most of these settings, no? I hope yung iba na-try ninyo. And aside from this, we have also discussed blending mode. Okay, so blending mode, simply yung blending of 2 or more layers natin. Ginagawa natin translucent yung 1 or more layer, and then we apply these settings or options, yung may multiply, darken, screen, overlay, etc. So, yun yung mga blending modes natin. So, eto rin, nasa module din natin yun. So, as you can see, we have discussed some topics ng lesson 3. So, other topics ng lesson 3 will cover starting from photo retouching. So, lesson 3 kasi ang theme niya is more on photo editing, photo retouching. So, from here naman, mag-i-start yung photo retouching natin. Simply, if you are aware dun sa mga, let's say, examples or yung mga nag-edit ng mga images, maybe some of you are aware, maybe some of you maybe have tried this already. Pero the idea here is like, as you can see in this sample image, there's a process na tinatawag na healing sa Photoshop. Meron din naman yung other softwares, image editing softwares, kung saan kaya nating mag-remove or mag-add ng objects. So yun yung main concept ng mga healing tools. They can remove or add objects. Technically, may tinatawag na cloning. Okay, so kino-clone yung mga areas. Let's say on this idea, meron tayong sample image, meron siyang acne or pimples, no? So yung finished product natin dito is parang tinanggal or ni-remove na ni Photoshop and na-blend, no, yung output. So from here, we'll be seeing here na, or we'll be discussing on how to do that. Paano tayo makapag-clone ng mga areas and then ipapatch natin dun sa mga areas na gusto nating na place or areas na saan lalagay yung mga na-clone nating area, I mean. So, basta pwedeng kumuha ng mga sample areas or skin like this, tapos ipapatch dun sa mga pimples or acne, pwede yun. Pero hindi lang naman sa mga skin or acne na apply yan, pwede rin sa ibang object. So, from here, focus lang tayo dun sa image, sa mga image dito sa module. Mapansin niyo na ina-apply din pwede sa ibang bagay. Like for example, on this wall, meron para mga crack or stain yung wall. So pwedeng final output natin ay mas clean version, ma-remove natin yung mga objects na yon. So using different tools, okay? And meron din tayong example dito, yung t-shirt. Or mamaya, gagawin natin siyang example din on how to use yung tools na i-discuss natin. Okay? And also, from here, sa module natin, actually lang doon yung sa module natin, sa lesson 3, ito na lang pala yung kulang natin doon, photo retouching. But, meron ako ditong PowerPoint, I have outlined some things na pwede nyo magamit. Aside yung mga nasa module, meron akong addition. Okay, so I will share these slides then sa inyo after nung discussion natin. So I will share these extra topics then. So again, before I proceed sa photo retouching na pinakita ko sa inyo, I will start with adjustments layers. So i-add ko siya sa lesson 3 kasi Nung last time we have discussed about yung layers, merging, etc. So i-add ko to. We have also discussed yung image adjustments before. So may tinatawag na adjustment layers naman na pwede nating i-apply. Okay? And then, for lesson 4, we will be discussing at least hanggang brush tool, layer mask, tapos clipping mask. Okay? And then, yung susunod nating meeting, itutuloy ko yung lesson 4 and probably baka makapag-add pa ako ng extra topics na pwede natin ma-add. So, yeah. Okay. So, recap lang dun sa dati. So, before, ang ginagawa natin is, let's say I have here an asset folder. Dito yung mga assets natin. So, ginagawa natin before, yung isa sa mga pinaka-latest natin is yung image adjustments, which is very, very related dun sa adjustment layers. No? So, from here, you'll see that I have this image na pwede nating baguhin yung brightness, contrast, hue, and saturation. Ayan. So, ginagawa natin before. So, ito na-discuss natin dati, no? So, parang, lang to, recap lang natin. So, ginagawa natin is we are creating a duplicate layer, not that. So, Control J. So, we are duplicating this layer. And then right after that, let's say gusto kong baguhin yung brightness, yung contrast, yung vibrance, etc. What we are doing is, as long as active yung layer natin, na image na to, you just have to click image, adjustments, and then just apply these settings. No? I mean, image adjustments, these settings. So when I click, let's say, brightness or contrast, yung mag-appear na settings, and then you'll have that brightness effect here. Okay. You can also click image again, adjustments, then we can adjust yung vibrance. So parang na-enhance lang natin yung color strength nung nasa image. So lahat yan na-apply class dun sa active layer natin, dun sa image natin kanina. You also see here yung before and after ng editing natin, like that. So ito yung last natin. So one of the last topics na na-discuss natin before, kung saan in-apply din natin yung sample output. Hindi ko ata na-save yung sa inyo before. It's like we have created something like this. So we have merged some images like that from different images, merged natin into a single file, and then we applied those image adjustments. Yung pinakita ko lang kayo na ni-recap natin, yung image adjustments, yung brightness, contrast, vibrance, hue or saturation actually. So nag-apply tayo ng something like this. Okay? Now, the problem, not actually problem, pero it might be useful to use a different way ng adjustment sa image natin. Let's say, instead of using this image adjustments, then let's say hue or saturation. Let's say, adjust ko yung saturation, yung hue, color na dito. Let's say, pasobrahan natin ng color. Incorrect natin yung color niya. And click OK. Yan. Let's say nagkamali tayo ng selection ng color sa image adjustments na yon. One thing for sure na pwede nyo maisip is, what if gusto mong i-adjust ulit, parang napasobra ng ganitong color tone. So gagawin mo is, you might want to click image, adjustments, and then hue or saturation. Again, tapos adjust mo ulit to. But you'll see here, class, you'll see here na yung settings kanina, na nandito sana yung slider natin. Yung settings kanina, technically nawala na. Okay? Kasi once na ginagamit natin yun dun sa image, kumbaga parang mina-merge na niya lahat ng settings na yun dun sa mismong image. So when you click image adjustments again, parang panibagong settings na naman. And you might try to find yung color kanina, or baka mahirapan ka maghanap ng tamang color kanina para mabalik. Good thing, meron tayong original layer dito Kaso, ang problema, hindi palaging option yung, buti na nakapag-duplicate ako ng layer, pwede ko siyang gamitin ulit. Hindi ganun lang laging solution. We should have another solution na kung saan gusto ko lang naman baguhin yung vibrance, gusto ko lang naman baguhin yung brightness, gusto ko lang baguhin yung hue saturation ng konti. Kaso yung settings, nawala na, kumbaga nag-fix na, nag-merge na dun sa layer. So, in that way, kung hindi ka pa sure dun sa mga settings mo, you might want to use adjustment layers. Okay? So, again, adjustment layers are basically separate layers sila, okay, where yung mga image adjustments are being applied technically, okay, dun sa mga layers natin. So, instead na dun sa image mismo nagme-merge, ang ginagawa yung mga settings nilalagay sa separate layer. So, wala to sa module, please pay attention. So, paano yung adjustment layers? Ganito lang. So, ito class, other option lang to instead of this image adjustments. What we can do here is, let's say, duplicate ko yung layer, may copy na tayo ng image. Now, instead of clicking image adjustments and then looking some things here na hindi pa naman tayo sure anong settings gusto natin gawin for that image, you might want to click this button dun sa layers panel natin. Pag tinapat mo naman yung mouse, mag-appear na create new fill or adjustment layer. So, ito yung gagawin natin. So, i-click ko to. And then, as I'm clicking this button, you see class, may nag-appear dito ng mga settings that are very familiar. Kasi, ito din yung mga settings na nandun sa image adjustments. Okay? So, again, i-click mo yung active layer, yung image mo. I-click mo tong button na yan, yung new adjustment layer. And then, let's say, gusto kong i-adjust yung brightness or contrast. When you do that, class, may mag-appear dito ng panibagong layer. Kanina wala to kung napansin ninyo. Yan. So, ang ginawa ko lang is na-click dito sa button na to. Diyan. Tapos, brightness or contrast. And then may nag-appear na panibagong layer, naka-label agad ng brightness or contrast. And when you click this layer, actually, automatic, mapapansin niyo may naka-open up dito na properties. Okay, meron naman talaga tayong properties panel, but ito yung nag-open up once you added an adjustment layer. So may settings dito, anong klaseng brightness, ano yung, amount ng brightness ang gusto mong i-adjust or contrast. So we can slide this. Yan, parang yung kanina lang din. In discussion natin yung image adjustments. Parang yung discussion natin nung last time, actually. So, I can click this image ulit. Maliban sa brightness contrast, gusto ko siya lagyan ng vibrance. Okay? So, click lang ako sa button ulit na to. And then, vibrance. You see, class, another layer has been added. Adjustment layer yan. So, habang nakaklik ka dito sa vibrance na to, pwede mong i-adjust yung vibrance ngayon, no? Image natin. So you can make this like a luminous type image or something like that. Konti lang. Tapos we can add another. So to add another adjustment layer, click mo lang to. Tapos ano kaya? Your saturation. So yung saturation, let's say gaya natin yung kanina. Let's say nasobran tayo ng color. Okay. Now, so let's go back here. So from here, class, mapapansin niyo na yung image natin, eto, yung duplicated layer natin, meron siyang adjustment layer na hue and saturation, vibrance, brightness, or contrast. Now, ang advantage nito dun sa kaninang example natin, yung layer na to, yung layer 1 na yan, ang advantage nito is you can still turn off these adjustment layers like that easily. Ayan, even yung vibrance or brightness or contrast. So, pwede mong like i-modify pa rin kahit yung settings niya. So, when you click here sa layer na to, nandun pa rin yung settings. Okay? Unlike dun sa kanina, nawawala na yung mga settings, kumbaga nag-fix na agad dun sa image. So, dito, maganda siyang way, lalo na pag di ka pa sure kung anong settings yung i-apply mo for yun, saturation, lalagyan mo ba siya or not, something like that. So in my case, parang hindi ko siya lalagyan, so I can just turn this off. Yung vibrance, pwede kong i-adjust. Yung brightness, pwede ko rin i-adjust. So in that way, mas nagiging more dynamic yung pag-image editing natin. Kasi once na gusto mong ibahin ulit yung settings, pwede mong balikan just by clicking yung mga adjustment layers natin dito. Okay? So, that's how adjustment layer works. Ganun lang. Okay? Parang yung image adjustments lang natin before. Pero kagandahan nito, meron siyang naka-separate layers sila. Now, baka matanong na iba, sir, paano pag sure na ako sa settings ko? Then, what you can do is, you can just select all of this, tapos, pwede mong emerge layers. Kaya pwede natin silang i-group like that. Yan. So, sa akin, merge layers ko na sila, like in that natin discussion. So, this one is the edited version. Ito na. Okay. But like what I'm always saying, maganda meron tayong duplicate kung gusto nating baguhin next time. Kung sure ka na, okay na yung ginawa mo na right-click, merge. Pag di ka pa sure, you can hit Ctrl-J. So ako, nag-hit ako ng Ctrl-J, kaya nagkaroon ako dito ng duplicates. Para mas neat tingnan, pwede nating i-group, katulad ng dati. Tapos, Ctrl-J mo na lang. So, it's like meron ka ditong backup, i-hide natin. And then, ito yung i-merge natin. Right-click, merge group. So, that way, meron kang image na naka-apply yung mga adjustments kanina. Wala na yung mga settings ulit kasi nga na-merge na. Pero if you want to revisit yung settings, yung backup mo dito na group. So, that way, mas magiging organized yung layers mo and settings. Okay? So, class, ganun yung adjustment layers. And ma-add ko lang, madagdag lang natin. Baka may makapagtanong, let's say if I'm going to like add this image, let's say dadalhin natin yung image na to maybe somewhere here. Ayan. What I'm trying to do here is hinide ko na yung na-merge. So gagawin ko dito sa man na to, yung man na layer, itadrag ko siya dito sa loob ng group yung merong adjustment layers. And when I do that, you see, nag-iba na yung image settings niya kasi under siya dun sa mga adjustment layers. So, kung ano yung mga settings na nasa adjustment layers, any layer, any visible layer below them will be applied. Lahat ng settings. So, yun. And that's the adjustment layers. Meron ba tayong question, class, about adjustment layers? You can unmute yourself or chat sa chat box. All right, I guess none. So, okay, let's proceed. So, next natin is photo retouching. Sa ating module, it is under page 66. Okay. It's just yung pinakita ko kanina. Ito yun. And ito yung mga main tools na i-discuss natin dito sa photo retouching. May tinatawag tayong spot healing brush tool. Ang tinatawag na healing brush tool. Tapos meron din tayong patch tool. And then yung red eye tool. Okay? But in my case, sa PowerPoint ko, aside from spot healing, patch, saka red eye, meron akong i-add yung clone stamp tool. So ito, wala to sa module, yung part na to. Tsaka yung mga tools na to, wala rin sila sa module, pero i-add din natin, which I think makakatulong sa inyo for more photo retouching options. Okay? Alright, sige. So, before we proceed with these tools, I would like to introduce sa inyo, class, na hindi ko lang kung nabanggit ko na to sa inyo before, but I want to introduce yung mga tinatawag na public domain resources. Pag sinabi kasi nating resources or assets, hindi naman basta-basta porque na-search mo, nakita mo sa Google, pwede nang gamitin. Pwede nang i-download, pwede nang gamitin, etc. Maybe for personal use, yung mga images siguro pwede mong gamitin. Pero usually yung mga ibang images, meron silang mga license. Tapos, in order to use them, especially for commercial use, let's say gagamitin mo sa business, gagamitin mo sa ganitong purposes, may mga licenses sila na Hindi mo basta-basta pwedeng gamitin sa ganon unless magbayad ka for a specific fee. Yung fee na yon, it's either one-time payment or baka meron siyang parang annual payment, etc. So, you should be aware dun sa mga resources na yun, class. And para makaiwas din sa mga ganong problem, I recommend finding some public domain resources. Pag sinabi natin public domain resources naman, these are free sa public, pwedeng gamitin in any way, in any form, even for commercial use. Kahit may business, gamitin mo yung mga images na yon, walang problema. Kukunin mo, gagamitin mo yung image na ganito, kahit di ka magpaalam dun sa author, walang problema. Okay? Yun yung public domain. Okay? So, generally, mga resources, meron tinatawag na public domain, may mga tinatawag na sabihin na natin hindi license, na hindi sila for public domain. So, here are the websites na personally ginagamit ko din. So, let me open up mga website na to. And then, the idea, let's say dito, ito yung Pixabay. Tapos, ito naman yung Unsplash. So, the idea, class, nag-offer sila ng mga free to use public domain images. Bakit ko ini-introduce? Baka kasi gusto nyo mag-download dito and mag-practice ng image editing something ninyo. Like that. So, in order to download, I recommend na mag-sign up kasi kapag nakapag-sign up ka na, dito meron ka ng account. When you click free download, meron kasi dito mga resolutions, higher resolutions na hindi allowed ma-download unless meron kang account. Okay? It doesn't mean na hindi siya public domain. Public domain sila. Pero kumbaga parang ano lang site nila na kapag when you have an account, you're able to download even larger resolution images. So, yun. Ganon din naman si Unsplash. Si Unsplash, alam ko kahit di ka na mag-login, you can just simply can download. Ganon din naman si Pixabay, pwede ka mag-download. But for high resolutions, you need to have an account. Sa Unsplash naman, you can just download them free like that, so without any options. But ayun, so those are public domain websites. Meron pang iba, class. Those are just one of my personal favorite na pinag-downloadan ng mga public domain resources. Okay, so yun, continue na tayo, class. So, i-discuss ko sa inyo si Spot Healing Brush Tool, Healing Brush Tool, Patch Tool, and Red Eye Tool, tsaka Clone Stamp Tool. Now, sa photo retouching natin, using these tools, the idea, class, is, sabi nga natin kanina, the idea ng mga photo retouching tool is, kumukuha tayo ng mga areas, let's say mga clean areas. Kinukuha natin yung spot or area, tapos, ipapatch dun sa mga damaged areas or dun sa mga areas na gusto natin takpan, for example. So, from here, pwede kong kuhanan yung area na to or area na yan, but make sure it is, yung color niya, it is relative dun sa ipapatch natin para mas maganda yung blending. Mahirap naman na kukuha tayo dun sa medyo mas lighter, tapos ipapatch natin sa darker part or area ng skin. So, baka magkaroon ng color problem or color blending problem doon. So, yun, ganun lang yung idea. Nagko-clone ka ng area, tapos pinapatch dun sa mga areas para matakpan lang, parang ganun. To remove objects. And let's start with Spot Healing Brush Tool. Using Spot Healing Brush Tool lang sabi, it can be used to clone an area and automatically blend it. Take nyo yung term na automatically blend it kasi yung iba, kailangan ikaw pa yung manual na kukuha ng sample area. Okay? May tools dito na ikaw pa yung kukuha ng sample area, tapos ilalagay mo, ipapatch mo dun sa areas. Etong Spot Healing Brush Tool, class, automatic. Okay? Automatic siya. So let me show you an example. But I think we can use this image. So, siguro kahit kuhanin lang natin siya as a screenshot. So, kahit snipping tool lang. So, take ko lang screenshot yung part na to. Then, let me create a new Photoshop document. Like that. Just duplicate it. Save. Okay, so for this t-shirt, ang goal natin is to make this look clean. And para magawa yan, gagamit tayo ng mga healing tools natin. So start with spot healing brush tool. So spot healing brush tool class ay andito lang. So yung makikita nyo dito na parang parang band-aid etc. na gano'n. So spot healing brush tool, sabi automatic. Okay, automatic siyang nagko-clone ng area. Automatic siyang nagbe-blend dun sa area. So when I click this spot healing brush tool, you'll see here na para meron tayong circular cursor. Imagine niyo para siyang brush. Okay? So, first things first, when you click spot healing brush tool, you should be checking this option bar. Wait. Okay. Eto, yung option bar natin dito. So, pag nag-click ka sa spot healing, check mo tong option bar, tapos pwede mong i-adjust yung size ng brush natin. Ayan, as you can see, i-adjust ko siya tapos check ko sa canvas gaano siya kalaki. So, I guess yung size na mga 38 is good. Ayan, na-adjust ko na yung size. You can also adjust yung hardness. But in this case, okay na to. So, automatic daw. Try natin. So, click lang tayo dun sa area. Click. Yan, sa mga stains. Click lang. Automatic class, kumukuha na siya ng mga clear area relative sa kanya. Like that. And then, automatic, pinapatch na niya. Pwede nyo rin i-click and drag. Like that. So again, the idea ng tool is kumukuha siya ng clean area. Like that. And then automatic pinapatch na niya as we click dun sa mga areas na to. Yan. So I can do multiple clicks. I can click and drag like that. So, you see class, ito yung after, ito yung before, no? So, before and after. So, in this case, we have used spot healing brush tool. Napakadali. Para ka lang nagbabrush. Click mo lang, tas click. Yun na. Okay? Ang pinagkaiba naman ni spot healing brush tool dun sa kasunod, yung healing brush tool, is that si healing brush tool, hindi siya automatic. So, si spot healing brush tool, kumukuha siya ng source. Si healing brush tool, ikaw manually ang kukuha ng source area. So, let me duplicate this layer. Gamitan natin siya ng healing brush tool. Si healing brush tool, ayan, eto yun, is hindi mo basta-basta pwedeng magamit. Katulad kanina, adjust muna natin pala yung size. Yan. Okay, balik tayo. Si healing brush tool, hindi mo siya basta-basta pwedeng gamitin na pagka-click mo dyan, makiklik ka na dun sa area na to as in sa gagawin ko. Yan. So, pag nag-click ka, may mag-appear na prompt na sasabihin sa'yo ni Photoshop na kuha ka muna daw ng source. Mag-define ka muna ng source na i-clone niya para pwedeng gamitin sa pagpapatch ng mga areas na gusto natin. So, to do that, ito yung shortcut. Ito yung i-hit lang natin. I-hold lang natin yung Alt, tapos mag-click tayo dun sa clean area. Again, i-hold yung Alt, tapos makiklik dun sa clean area to define a source point. So let's say, in this case, merong ditong stain, di ba? So, pipili ako ng color na malapit dun sa, dun sa white na ito. So, i-move ko dito yung brush. Yan, tatapat ko lang dyan. And then I can hold Alt. Pag hinold ko yung Alt, meron kayong makikitang changes dun sa cursor. Para kami makikitang crosshair or target na icon something. So, hold ko yung Alt. Like that. Yan, naka-hold yung Alt ko. When I click ngayon dun sa area, ayan, so nag-click tayo. Ayan. Pwede pa ulit-ulit kumuha ng source. Alt, tapos click. Pwede ka magbago mamaya ng source. So again, Alt, click. And then by doing that, nakakuha ko ng sample ngayon. Parang may dala-dala akong white color. Ito dadrag ko yung mouse, atin na niya. Yan. So yung cursor ko, para siya nagkaroon siya ng white color. Ngayon, etong dala-dala kong sample source na to, I can just click on these spots. As you can see, natatakpan na. So i-click ko lang para mag-blend na. Yan. Yan. So, kagandahan dito is hindi tayo maasa dun sa AI capability ng Photoshop sa pagkuha ng source. Minsan kasi, there are times na posibleng hindi perfect yung pagkuha ng source niya. So, pwede tayo mag-define. So, let's say dito sa area na ito, medyo lighter color na yung white. So, kung mag-define ulit ako ng source, pwede kong i-hold yung Alt, tapos click. And then after that, I can just click here. Pwede rin click and drag. Kung napansin niyo habang nag-click ako, class, may nakita ko yung plus sign. Yan. So, in that way, class, nagamit natin si Healing Brush Tool. So, again, si Healing Brush Tool is manual, yung pagkuha ng source by holding Alt and then click. Si Spot Healing Brush Tool, automatic siyang kumukuha ng source or nagka-clone ng source. Next naman natin is si Patch Tool. Okay, si Patch Tool class, ginagamit siya usually to fix some larger area. Like halimbawa, meron kasi tayo ditong brush, circular shape sila. Lalo na kapag medyo custom yung shape, as in eto, ayan, hindi siya fully circular, no? I can use Patch Tool in this way. So si Patch Tool, ganito naman siya ginagamit. So i-click mo lang. Tapos para siyang lasso tool, no? Pwede mong gamitin to click and drag from here. Like that. So select lang natin yung stain. Yun. So we can just do our best as close as possible do sa gusto nating selection. Hindi ako gumamit ng lasso tool class. Ang ginamit ko lang Patch Tool. Okay? So what you can do here now is, after nating i-select yung area na yon using Patch Tool, we can still click and drag it. Still, naka-active pa rin si Patch Tool. We can still click and drag. As you can see, parang nag-move away yung stain. Kasi the idea class is parang sinelect natin si stain, tapos i-replace natin siya ng color na gusto natin or area na gusto natin while we are dragging it. So in my case, na-drag ko siya dito sa area na to. So kung saan ko dinrag yung area na to, meaning yun yung gusto kong maging natin pang patch dun sa stain. So release. Yan, Control D to deselect. There, class, nagawa natin i-fix yung larger area using Patch Tool. Now I can use Healing Brush Tool to get this area. Kinuha ko yung area na to para ma-patch yung stain natin dyan. Okay. So there, class, nagawa na natin i-clean yung kanina original photo. So from here, nagawa natin ganito. Okay. Sige, next tayo. Red eye tool. Si red eye tool is kasama dito sa area na to, dito sa group na to. Hindi ko na isasama si content aware. Bali yung focus natin, yung mga healing tools natin na to, yung tatlo, tsaka si red eye tool. Okay. So for red eye tool class, ito naman yung last tool kasama ng group na to is ginagamit siya usually kapag may mga photos, kunyari malakas yung flash nung camera, tapos nag-capture ka ng photo. Usually may mga nagiging effect sa eyes sa iba, para nagkakaroon sila ng mga red dots dun sa eyes. Yung iba ganun na nangyari before. So I have an example here. Let me open this up sa Photoshop. Okay. As you can see here, yung eyes nung subject natin is meron siyang mga red dun sa eyes. Meron mga red spots doon kasi dun sa flash, lakas ng flash nung camera. So si Photoshop, meron siyang way to fix that. Okay? So to fix that, meron tayong tinatawag dito na red eye tool. When you click this tool, wag agad muna tayo mag-click. Pwede rin naman, pero I advise na you can just adjust first yung darken amount. Madalas kasi mas darker yung pinoproduce ni Photoshop. Ang idea lang ng red eye tool, pinapalitan niya ng darker color itong red na to para mawala yung red. Kumbaga pinapatch niya ng darker color. Something like that. So sa red eye tool ko, yung darken amount niya is nasa 20%. So what I can do here is, i-click ko lang yung eye. I-click ko lang yung eye, tapos, yun na. Pagka-click sa eye, magiging darken na yung red kanina. As you can see, na-fix na natin yung area na yun. Ulit, so dito sa red spot na to, i-click mo lang siya. And there, you see class na-fix na ng red eye tool natin. Ayan, yung red spot kanina dun sa eyes. Ganun lang, click lang. Okay? So those class are the tools for healing or removing objects or patching or putting a patch sa mga areas na gusto nating i-remove or i-repair. So, ayan sila. And let's have another example then. Siguro let's have another example for this tools ulit, tapos i-introduce ko si clone stamp tool. So si spot healing, again, tandaan nyo lang, this is automatic. Automatic siya. Si healing brush tool, manual. Yung pagkuha na source. And then patch tool naman para mag-patch ng mga larger area, custom areas. Na hindi circles like that. So, kaya apply natin yan dito sa example natin kanina. From here. So, we can see here. Actually, madaling gamitin sa spot healing, no? Pagka-click mo lang, basta tama yung size. Meron akong shortcut to resize my brush. No? You're familiar naman doon sa mga square bracket sa keyboard. So, mamaya discuss ko yung brush tool. Discuss ko ulit yung shortcut. But to resize your brush, you can just use left or right square bracket. Yung left square bracket for minimize, yung right to maximize yung size or to increase size. So adjust ko lang yung size. Kung ayaw nyo na shortcut, there's no problem. No? Nandito lang yan, yung size. Yan. So ready na yung ating spot healing brush tool. So pagka-click, you can just simply click itong area na to. Like that. Or yung area na yan. Yan. So as you can see, automatically, biniblend na ni spot healing brush tool. Also, we can use yung manual, si healing brush tool. Yung kanina spot automatic. So si healing brush tool naman is, again, kukuha lang tayo ng source. Check lang muna natin yung size. Kukuha ng source maybe somewhere from here. Hold ko yung Alt. Okay, Alt. Tapos click. Then after that, I can just click this area. So, even in this part, let's say yung Alt and click. Pull natin yung Alt from here and then click. Tapos, what else? Si patch tool, yung kanina, so you can just draw some custom areas, tapos drag mo lang somewhere like that. Okay, so ganun naman si patch tool. Si spot healing, nakita niyo na kanina, so pwede rin siyang click and drag. Ito yung mga wrinkles dito. Yan, we can reduce yung wrinkles. There, before, okay, ito yung before, and then after. Alright, so that's how you use those tools, class. Spot healing, healing brush tool, saka patch tool. Now, let's proceed naman sa tinatawag nating clone stamp tool. So ito wala sa module, but I think this is very related, no, dun sa mga tools na ginagamit natin sa ngayon. Kaya, let's have clone stamp tool. Let me open up an image. And from here, say we have this photo. And then, let's say I would like to use this image. And sabihin natin na gusto kong mag-remove ng objects from here. Let's say yung mga street cut dito. So let's say gusto natin maging plain lang yung area na to, tsaka maybe yung part na yon. So how can we do that? No? You can still use these tools, pero I would like to introduce yung additional tool natin, yung tinatawag na clone stamp tool. Si clone stamp tool lang siya kasunod ng mga healing tools natin kanina. Ang idea ni clone stamp tool is para siyang si patch tool. Para siyang patch tool na healing brush tool. Si healing brush tool kasi kumukuha siya manually ng source, diba? Ito yun, yung healing brush tool. So si clone stamp tool, ganun, kumukuha din siya ng source. Same lang din yung shortcut, hold mo lang yung Alt, tapos click. So ganun si clone stamp tool. As in ganito. In my case, let's say gusto nating i-remove mo na yung area na to, yung cut. So what I can do here is kukuha ko ng source. Maybe gagawa ko na mas malaking size. Malaki ko parang konti yung size niya. Cover up this. So hold ko yung Alt. Okay, hold ko yung Alt sa keyboard. Tapos click. Ayan, nakapag-click tayo. Now, see here na ito yung parang source na nakuha ko ngayon. Hinold ko yung Alt tapos click. So ito yung clone stamp tool. I-drag ko lang siya dito. I-point ko lang dito sa part na to. Hindi pa ako nag-click So dadagay ko lang sa dyan. Then I can just hit click sa mouse. And there, you see, parang na-remove natin yung area. Konti pa. Ayan. So from before and after natin, you see class na parang na linis natin, na blend natin yung area na yon by removing yung extra object natin using this tool, yung clone stamp tool. Okay? So, dito kuha tayo ng panibagong source siguro. Yan, something like that. So, kuha ko ng bagong source. Hold ko lang yung Alt. Tapos click. And then I can just click this area. And ayun. So, you see class. Meron tayong before and after. Okay. You see, meron tayong tools na pwede magamit for this kind of photo editing style. Yung iba ginagamit nila to for repairing some image or images. So, pwede nyo rin sila magamit. Although meron pang other tools na pwedeng gamitin or ibang techniques, I mean. But these are the major tools na pwede magamit for that. So, class, again, we have Spot Healing Brush Tool. We have Healing Brush Tool, Patch Tool, Red Eye Tool, tsaka Clone Stamp Tool to do some photo retouching or maybe photo repairing na din. Okay? Ito sa mga ibang cases. Okay? Now, additional tools na pwede natin magamit is may tinatawag tayong dodge tool, burn tool, blur, sharpen, smudge, etc. Wala dito sa module, but i-add natin and they are just very easy to use. As in, pagka-click mo doon, apply agad. Okay? So, let's try dodge tool. For this example, I think I'll be using this same image. Let me just save this first as let's see, adjustments. So, open tayo ng panibagong asset. Maybe the same image na lang, pero different Photoshop documents. Okay. So, here class, dito sa mga topics na to, yung mga tools na to, I mean. So, makakadagdag to kapag kami nire-retouch tayong image. And I'll show you how. See, dodge tool, burn tool, blur tool, etc. First is, I have duplicated an image. Tapos, mag-a-add ako dito ng adjustment layer. Let's say, adjust ko yung brightness. Si adjustment layer, again, balikan natin. No? Yung kanina, ito lang yun. Kiniklik lang yung button na to. Tapos, you click this brightness or contrast. And then, you adjust the settings here. Yan. As you can see, as a whole, na-adjust natin yung brightness ng image. Okay, like that. But what if there are certain parts na gusto natin nag-glow or nag-bright somehow? In that case, if you want to do something like that, pwede natin gamitin yung tinatawag natin na dodge tool, which is kabaliktaran naman ng burn tool, pampa-dark. So, yung dodge, pampa-brighten up. So, ito yung tool na pwede natin magamit. They reside somewhere here. Ayan, dodge tool. Tapos meron din burn tool. So, si burn tool, sige, unahin ko na si burn tool. When you click burn tool, para kami dala-dalang brush din, you can still adjust yung size from here sa option bar. Yan. So, from here, pwede mo adjust yung size ng burn tool natin. Parang normal na brush lang. Ayan. Tapos, when you click, okay, nag-click and drag ka, yan, you see, nababurn natin yung image. Diba? So, ito yung burn tool. So, ginagamit siya to like darken some areas. Si dodge tool naman, however, ginagamit siya to brighten up, to add some glow effect. Yung iba kapag gumagawa sila na parang digital makeup using Photoshop, yan. Yung iba siguro ginagamit nila to. So you can click this dodge tool. Tapos we can adjust yung size. or I can just use my shortcut to adjust the size na gusto ko. So again, using Dodge tool, I can just click somewhere. Hindi ko lang napansin ninyo, pero meron siyang glowing effect. Adjust ko siguro yung exposure. Kasi exposure, ito yung strength niya. Normally, I believe 50% to eh. So you see, click and drag. Yan, na-brighten up na natin yung area na gusto nating ilagyan ng ganitong effects. Like that. So that is by using Dodge tool. Yan. So in my case, I'd like to reduce yung exposure maybe kahit mga 30% lang. Para hindi ganun kataas yung pag-add niya. And so I can just, let's say, bawasan natin. Add somewhere here. Brightness ng konti dito. Tapos brightness ng konti dito sa area na to. Yan. Even in this part. Diyan. Diyan. Yan. So just to lighten some things here. And using Dodge tool. Okay. So tingnan natin before and after, no? So ito yung after. Ito yung before. Ito yung after. I can still add some more actually. So pwede kong i-reduce yung size maybe. Let's say add tayo ng konti dito. Add ng konti dyan. Yan. So we can just like put some glowing effect. You can use this as a brush, no? Pwede yung i-brush siya ng ganyan yung area na to. Pwede. Yan. So, ang ginagamit ko dito is Dodge tool. Okay. Sobra na. Yeah. Anyway, so that's how I use it. Dodge tool. And I guess okay na yun. So you see here, ito yung before natin. Yan, ito yung beats. Ito yung before. Ito naman yung after natin. So nakapag-add tayo ng glow effect. Nakapag-add ako ng konting brightness. Tapos parang medyo nilagyan natin ng konting brighten or glow up makeup, something like that. Anyway, so that's how I use it. Okay. Dodge tool. Tapos meron tayong blur tool, sharpen tool. So si blur tool, syempre pampablur ng mga areas. Let's say from here, pwede ko siya, meron din siyang strength actually. So pwede nating i-blur pa ng konti yung area na to. Yeah, hindi ko lang kung napapansin niyo, but there's some kind of blur effect tayo na-apply. So maybe to add more focus dun sa image natin. It's like putting a depth dun sa image. Tapos meron tayong tinatawag na sharpen. So kapag ka naman ng blur, no? Sharpen, ingat lang sa paggamit kasi pag nasobra ng sharpen, minsan baka may mag-appear na uneven colors, something like that. So maybe I can just use sharpen on this flower maybe. Ayan. Kaya dito. Kaya dyan. I'm not sure if nakita niyo yung effect, but hindi masyadong halata. Okay? But the idea there is the more you add some sharpen technique here, sharpen using sharpen tool, mas nagiging sharp or crisp yung image. Pero pang other filters like sharpening the whole image, but yun lang. When it comes to this tool, pang-customize siya para ma-sharpen yung mga specific areas. And smudge tool naman. So smudge tool, I'm not sure if you're familiar, may mga tinatawag na smudge art. Para siyang liquefy something in that thing. So like when you click smudge tool, meron din siya ditong settings like yung strength niya. Sa akin naset ko siya ng 24%. Tapos yung size. Ayan. So I can just simply click and drag actually, class. Let's say click and drag ko yung dito sa yung bandang forehead. Ayan. I'm not saying, class, na ito yung steps to do a smudge art. I'm not saying ito yung steps, ito na yon. Not that. But I'm just trying to show you, class, na merong ganitong tool na pwede natin magamit to do something like this. Yan. Okay, there are sure other ways to do some smudge art, I guess. But as you can see, parang ini-imitate natin dito yung idea ng digital, no, not actually, this is not digital painting, okay? This is not digital painting. Parang ini-imitate lang natin yung tinatawag na oil painting or something. And, ayan, photo editing pa rin siya. So it's like we have an original image kasi dito. It's using a smudge tool. Yan, we're just trying our best to do something like this. Nasobra yung area na yun, I guess. But anyway, yan. So before, wait lang, ito yung before natin. Ito yung before. Ayan. And then, ito naman yung after. So, in this case, as you can see, parang medyo naging oil painting ang dating ng image natin. Using those tools, using those additional tools, no? Yung blur, yung sharpen, yung burn, dodge tool, tsaka yung smudge tool. Alright? So those are just additional tools, class. I hope matry nyo rin silang gamitin. Alright. Okay, class. Any questions muna before I proceed with lesson 4? Technically, for lesson 3, natapos na natin siya. Kasi sa lesson 3, sa module, natatapos sa mga tools natin, yung mga healing tools kanina. So from here onwards, mga additional na lang natin. Tsaka yung adjustment layer. So, baka meron tayong questions, class, before we proceed with lesson 4. So, for lesson 4, class, actually dito sa module natin. So, lesson 4 starts with these topics. So it is about integrating texts, filters, brushes, clipping masks, patterns, etc. Yan, so nag-start siya with text actually, yung mga paano gamitin yung text tool, formatting. Ayan. Smart filters, brush tool. I just find it na medyo relative si brush tool. I mean, very related si brush tool doon sa mga previous nating na-discuss. Yan, yung mga to. Healing brush tool, spot healing brush tool, clone stamp tool, dodge, burn, blur, sharpen. I find it related siya. I mean, si brush tool, related siya dun sa mga yun kasi pareho silang parehong brush na magkakaiba lang yung effect, diba? Tapos, ganoon din naman sa eraser. So, I'll jump in muna dito sa topic na to, yung brush tool. Tapos, after ng brush tool, clipping masks, okay? Patterns. Yun. Hanggang dun pala yung lesson 4. But I think, meron pa tayong ma-add dito. So I'll be starting up lesson 4 with brush tool. Tapos, sasamahan natin ng eraser. Tapos, didiscuss ko sa inyo yung other ideas about brush tool. And pati na din kung paano mag-load ng mga new brushes. Kasi may mga default brushes si Photoshop. Iba't ibang mga brushes yon. May mga brushes na pwedeng i-download. Tapos paano sila i-load. Yan. I-discuss din natin yan. Tapos, what else? Ito yung clipping mask. So at least hanggang dito sa clipping mask matapos man lang natin. Okay, during the session. Yung layer mask, kung napansin niyo, wala din sa module kanina nung binrowse ko yung lesson 4. So, i-add lang natin si layer mask, which is, I think, napaka-useful niyang gamitin in any ways. Lalo na kapag gumagawa kayo ng selections. Kung naalala niyo pa, meron kayong assignments, yung nag-change ng background, maybe nag-select kayo ng subject like that, tapos change background, etc. Pwedeng gamitin to as additional, itong si layer mask, to finely tune your selections pa. Okay. Hindi lang yun, meron pang other benefits yan. So, papakita ko mamaya. Wala to sa module, so please pay attention on this. I mean, sa lahat, but specifically on this part din mamaya. Okay. So, let's start class with the brush tool. Okay. First, yung shortcut to resize your brush size is by hitting this short keyboard keys. Yung square bracket. So to increase yung size, you just have to hit this yung closing square bracket, tas opening square bracket to decrease naman yung size ng brush natin. Okay. So I think I have to save this muna. Okay, so create tayo ng new file, new Photoshop documents. Okay, and then let me discuss to you class yung brush tool. Okay, so sa brush tool, ito siya. Then meron tayong brush. Actually, nakita natin yung kumbaga outline ng magiging brush natin. You can adjust yung size by hitting square bracket, yung opening square bracket, tsaka yung closing. Ayan. So pag opening, lower yung size, opening square bracket, closing square bracket to increase the size. Tapos si brushes ay gumagamit din siya ng color kung ano yung nasa foreground natin. Then you can just click and drag this brush. Okay. So yung brush na ginagamit ko dito is yung default brush lang din na meron sila. And then when you click brush tool, actually, ito yung mga pilitin natin settings. Palagi, parang yung healing brush tool kanina, spot healing. After you click the tool, pupunta ka sa option bar para makita yung additional settings mo. Like yung size ng brush. But then again, I advise yung shortcut para while you're doing something, diretso ka lang. Ina-adjust mo na lang by hitting some keys sa keyboard. No? Lalo na yung iba pag kunyari, mas gusto nyo, let's say you want to pursue like digital painting style sa Photoshop. No? So napaka-useful nung nare-resize mo na agad sa keyboard. Nare-resize mo na siya agad-agad. Nalalaki mo yung size, not this. But yeah. Yan. Habang naklik ka sa brush tool, na-adjust mo na yung size. So, dito sa option bar din, na-adjust mo din yung hardness dito. As you can see, 10% yung hardness. Ibig sabihin, compared din sa pinaka 100% solid edges, kumbaga yung percentage at 10% lang, ibig sabihin magiging soft yung edge niya. Kaya yung output natin sa brush natin kanina is this. Ayan. As in soft talaga yung edges, no? But if you try to increase yung hardness, as in tinatry mong gawing solid yung edge niya, you just have to drag this. Tapos, ganyan. So, as you can see, mas nagiging solid na. And then, I can just hit 100% hardness. And so, as you can see, class, yun yung sa hardness settings na pwede nating ma-apply. Depende sa gusto nyo output. Usually, mga nag-digital paint, parang nilalower nila yung hardness so para mas smooth yung dating. Tapos, meron ding opacity dito para hindi agad 100% yung buga ng color niya. So, pwede nating babaan yung opacity. So, as you can see, yan, mas nagiging transparent yung brush natin in this case. So, the higher ng opacity, syempre, the higher ng visibility. So, yun. And then, I'd like to show you na meron ganitong setting. Baka meron kayong makitang ganitong icon. I'm not sure. Pero pag meron kayong ganyan nakitang icon, may nakalagay na always use pressure for size. Pag sinabing pen pressure or pressure, ayan. It talks about usually pen pressure sa mga graphics tablet. Okay? Yung graphics tablet is, I'm sure yung iba, you are all aware. I mean, yung iba, mostly sa inyo siguro aware. Para doon sa mga hindi pa siguro ganong aware, ano ba yung graphics tablet, para saan siya, etc. Ano ba yung gamit nun? So, I have an example here. Ayan. So, ito yung, meron ako ditong graphics tablet din. Ayan. So, ginagamit ko din siya sa Photoshop, sa Illustrator. And then, yung itong tablet na to, itong area na to, ayan, dyan tayo nagdo-draw. O kaya, pag may image editing or something, dyan, ito yung parang nagiging panel natin to draw something, to edit something. Ayan. Tapos yung pen, meron siyang ganito. Yung pen tablet, meron siyang ganito. Of course, yung pen, di pwede mawala yan. So, ito yung ginagamitan ng pen pressure. So, kung may makikita kayong like icon from here, like for pen pressure, the idea is kapag naka-turn on yon, tapos meron kang graphics tablet, meron kang pen like this. Ayan. So, ang idea is, nadidetect niya kung gaano kadiin kang mag-drawing, mag-press dun sa graphics tablet mo. So, parang sa normal paper, no? Kapag madiin yung pagsulat mo, mas strong, 'di ba? Yung color mas strong yung output. Pero kapag let's say magaan, mas soft, no? Kapag madiin, mas strong. So, something like that. Tapos yung tip nung tip ng brushes, pwedeng mas manipis, pwedeng parang pa-fade in or pa-fade out yung kanyang mga tips. Pwedeng paliit, papalaki, something like that. No? So, yun, dahil yun dun sa graphics tablet, pen, tsaka yung naka-enable na setting na always use pen pressure, for example, for size. So, di mo na rin masyadong nadidefine yung size kasi nga, nandun na yon kung paano mo pinapress yung or paano ka nagdo-drawing dun sa graphics tablet. So, yun. Di naman required na magkaroon ng ganun. It's just that if you are interested na to use Photoshop in that way, gusto nyong, let's say, mag-painting, mag-drawing, yan, mag-additional tool na gagamitin for your graphics. So, pwede kayong gumamit ng ganun. Okay? So, ayun, class. So, pinakita ko lang para meron tayong additional settings na, para aware na din sa mga additional settings na meron tayo dyan. And, here, kung meron tayong size, meron tayo ng hardness, meron din tayo dito mga brush tips na tinatawag. So, iba't ibang tip lang ng mga brushes na available na meron tayo. So, by default, yung ginagamit ko yung circular lang. Meron different type ng brushes or tip ng brushes, I mean. So, I can click here. Kanina, nagkamali ako. Yung mismong main layer ko, doon ako nakapag-brush. So, dapat, kung meron tayong background, dapat meron tayong new layer, no, yung blank layer, para doon tayo nakapag-brush. Para lang mas organized. But just for demonstration, in-apply natin siya doon. Okay? So, naklik ako sa brush. Tapos, pinalitan ko yung tip niya using this. Tapos, change ko yung color. And then I can just do this. So, as you can see, by using different tips, pwede tayo makakita ng different texture ng brush na gagamitin. Like that. And in default, of course. Now, meron tayong other brush dito na mapakita ko sa inyo. Like, halimbawa, yung brush number 74 ko dito. Ayan, kiklik ko siya. And pag nag-click tayo somewhere here, you'll see na automatic, marami siyang pinroduce na output. Isang click lang yun, ano? So, kada nag-click tayo, and may pinaproduce na siyang mga colors. Brushes. Tapos, with these different colors. Paano pa pag nag-click and drag tayo? So, click and drag. Ayan. So, marami siyang pinaproduce. Automatic, yung amount ng brush na ginagawa niya, pinaproduce niya randomly yung location somewhere in this area. Tapos, para magkakaiba ng size minsan. Tapos, para nakascatter yung mga brushes. So, yung mga brush na to, class, yung mga ganyang klaseng brushes, merong ganitong default sa Photoshop. Tapos, pwede mo ring baguhin yung settings on how sila mag-i-scatter, paano yung size kapag nag-brush ka na, nag-sway ka na ng brush mo, etc. Something like that. So, pwedeng baguhin yun, yung settings na yun. In my case, I have here two options. Let's say, meron akong brush 95, dalawa yung brush 95 ko dito. Yung first, it acts something like this. Pag na-click and drag ako, ayan, parang yung kanina lang din. Ayan, pag na-click and drag, ini-scatter niya ng ganun yung mga leaves, di ba? Tapos, pag sinelect ko yung other option niya, let's say this one, tsaka ako nag-click and drag, mini-scatter naman niya, pero kumbaga parang uniform spacing, uniform size. So, paano nababago yung mga settings sa mga brushes? Now, eto class, wala na din to sa module, pero pakita ko sa inyo para meron kang idea, aware kayo na meron palang ganong settings. Okay. So, ang gagawin nyo lang is, pupunta kayo dito sa window, tapos makikita nyo yung brush panel. Okay. Yung brush panel, F5 yung shortcut, click lang natin. Again, window, brush, and ito siya. Usually, nakikita nyo yung icon na to. Baka makita nyo yung icon na yan sa Photoshop. Ito yun. So, pag nyo makita, punta ka lang sa window, then brush. Now, class, meron ditong ganitong settings. Yan, yung may mga naka-check. Let's say, click ko yung shape dynamics. So, pwede mong i-adjust dito yung different settings na gusto mo. Tapos, meron siyang sample preview kung paano magiging output for that specific brush. So, pwede kong i-check yung scattering. Tapos, pwede kong i-adjust, let's say, yung scatter amount. Pwede kong i-slide. As you can see, diba? Nag-a-adjust yung preview. Pwede natin i-check both axes. Tapos, ayan. Pwedeng ganitong style ng preview yung gusto natin. Pwede natin dagdagan pa yung kumbaga parang strength ng brush na yon. Like that. We can add more texture to it. We can add more, let's say, color dynamics. Ayan. Gagamitin niya ba yung color ng foreground tsaka background? I-blend ba niya to produce some specific color? Something like that. Yan. So I'm not into discussing more settings about this kasi medyo intermediate or advanced part na yun sa may bandang brush. But pinapakita ko lang sa inyo, class, para meron kayong idea na you can adjust your brushes, okay, using these settings. So again, to do that, pupunta ka lang sa window and then brush. Okay? So yan, class, yung about sa ano natin, brush. Okay? So you can try to change some brush tips, ano pa ba? Yung brush settings, of course. And then lastly, dun sa topic ng brush, i-add ko lang, paano mag-load ng new brushes? Kasi may mga downloadable na brushes kasi. Let's say, free Photoshop brushes. Pwede kayo mag-search lang ng ganun. Yan. So may mga website na nag-offer naman ng free download ng mga Photoshop brushes like this. So may mga brushes na ganito, let's say bubble effect. Kasi pagka-click mo, meron ka na ng bubble, mga snow, ganyan. Yan, so tama-tama kapag magdi-design kayo tapos you want to add something, let's say bokeh effect. Ayan. So may mga ganong klaseng brushes. In my case, I have already downloaded mine and nakapag-download ako ng watercolor brushes. So from here, meron akong ito yung file na to, yung .abr. Usually kapag nag-download, ang madadownload mo mga naka-zip or naka-compressed pa. So i-extract mo yan tapos makikita ka dito, let's say .abr na mga ganun. Minsan naman may mga brushes na ang ibibigay sa'yo puro images tapos i-define mo sila pa isa-isa, pero maganda katulad nito naka.abr na. So hanap kayo ng mga ganong brushes para ilo-load na lang natin. Okay? So let's say I want to use these brushes, yung watercolor brushes. So pupunta lang ako sa Photoshop. Add tayo ng new layer. Yan. So I have this brush, diba? Brush tool. Pagka-click mo sa brush tool, ito yung step number 1, no? To load new brushes. Yan. Punta ka lang dito sa option bar. Tapos meron tayong makikita ditong gear. Okay? Dito sa ano natin, yung panel natin dito, may makikita ang gear dyan. And then meron tayong option dito for load brushes. Again, class, brush tool. And then from here, i-click natin yung gear icon, tapos load brushes. From here, ilolocate mo lang kung nasan yung brush na gusto mong i-load. Let's say, ayan, meron akong mga, let's say, metal brushes, something like that. Pero I'd like to add yung watercolor brushes na na-download ko na. So this one. Then I can just click load. Like that. Hindi ko lang napansin ninyo yung ano dito, yung scroll bar niya nag-adjust. But once we drag this below, dito natin makikita yung mga new brushes na na-add natin. And as you can see here, meron tayong watercolor effect. So pag nag-click ako ngayon dito, yan. So meron na tayong ganitong klaseng brushes, di ba? So watercolor brush. So again, brush, this one, tas to load brushes. Pag na-load, pupunta doon sa pinaka-last part, usually, then we can select from this brushes. Yan. So I have added those watercolor brushes. Yan. Alright? So pwedeng magamit para pag may ginagawa kang artwork or design, tapos wala ka ng time to create your own, something like that. So may mga nada-download na ganun na free brushes. Okay? So good thing, ganun lang kung paano mag-load ng new brushes. Okay? So, brush tool. Si eraser naman is very similar kay brush tool kasi ginagamit din yung mga shapes, yung kung ano yung nandun kay brush tool. And alam nyo naman kung paano si eraser. Simply, para ma-erase lang yung mga objects natin here. Let's say, ito si eraser tool natin. Yan. Tapos pwede niyang erase yan. Then it also applies the same settings, no? Yung opacity, gano'n siya nag-erase. Yan, 100%. Tapos, meron din siya kung ano yung hardness ng erase. Kasi 100%. That. Pwede rin yung size. Ayan, so eraser to, klasa. Tapos, paano siya mag-erase? Ano yung shape na gagamitin? So, pwede gamitin tong mga to erase some things like that. Okay? So, ganun lang si eraser. Parang brush tool lang din. Okay. So, last two topics natin for here. Lesson 4. We have layer mask. Okay. Si layer mask, sabi ko sa inyo kanina, una, wala to sa module. So, please pay attention if you have your pen and paper din dyan or you just want to barely listen talaga. And then, tandaan yung mga steps natin. Madali lang itong gamitin si layer mask. Okay? Ginagamit siya usually to fine-tune your selection or like to retain yung image without really damaging it or erasing it. Kasi meron tayong option na eraser. Meron din tayong layer mask. Yung iba ginagamit nila si layer mask na parang to erase some things pero hindi sila technically na-erase din sa image. Tandaan nyo rin yung mga colors na ito mamaya, yung black, white, and gray. Okay? But simply, si white color, ginagamit siya to display all things, to display all objects. Si black, to erase naman. But you understand that pag nag-start na tayo kay layer mask. Okay? So, let's start. Let me open up at least 2 images. Try ko mag-blend ng 2 or more images. Open natin to. Tsaka this one. Okay. So, ang idea ko dito is ida-drag ko to dun sa Photoshop document ko na yan. Ayan siya. Okay. So from our layers panel, I'd like to create a duplicate of this. So meron ako ng bird. Meron din ako ng parang nature image, nature background, something like that. What I want here is very straightforward na lang natin. Using my eraser tool, tapos using just the default eraser na meron ako dito, size, siguro yung hardness, gawin natin siya medyo smooth ng konti. Ito. And then yung opacity, bawasan ko ng konti. Well, we can try yung 100%. So, eraser tool yung ginagamit ko klasa, eraser. Now, I can just erase some things here. But as you can see, pagka-erase ko din sa object na yon, nakikita na natin yung additional image kasi yun yung nasa lower layer niya, yung bandang nature layer. So, let's say, I'll erase some things here, like just to display some of that back layer, that lower layer. Okay. So, let's say ito yung ginawa natin. And then, sabihin na natin, napasobra yung pag-erase ko ng object. Okay? Let's say, napasobra yung erase natin dito. Kaya yung sa side na yan. So, you'll be seeing here a thumbnail din na na-erase na yung part na yan. So, when I hide this layer, you see class, yun yung amount ng image na na-erase na natin sa eraser tool. Now, what if gusto kong i-modify itong image like, pwede ko kayang ibalik yung area na na-erase ko na, di ba? Baka maisip natin, pwede ko yan ibalik yung part na to, yung part na yan, like that, etc. Without starting over again. I mean, meron tayong duplicate, that's good. Pero without starting over again, pwede kayang balikan. Lalo na kung kinabukasan, doon mo pala naisip na gusto mong balikan na ayusin to, na-restart mo na yung PC mo. So, hindi na rin gagana basta-basta yung Control-Z mo or Control-Z, wala na yun, no? So, what we can do here is, lang, eto na yun. As in talagang wala na solution yun, kundi gamitin na lang yung duplicate. Kasi nga, in-erase mo na siya totally. So, merong other way class to achieve this output without totally damaging, without totally erasing the whole image na pwede nating i-restore kahit yung mga specific part lang na gusto nating i-restore. So, meron tayong pwedeng magamit na technique for that. So, let me show you. Duplicate ko muna tong bird. Yan. And then, in my case, I will not use eraser tool. Okay, I will not use this, but rather I'll be using brush tool mamaya. Okay, mamaya. So what we can apply here, classes yung tinatawag na layer mask muna. To apply yung sinasabi ko, yung pwede mo, yung na-erase mo na, tapos pwede pang restore. To apply that, we need to use a layer mask. Okay, yung layer mask, from the term layer mask, nasa layers panel yun. Ito yun. So, ito yung icon, add layer mask. Ganun lang. So, click mo lang yung layer na gusto mo or image na gusto mo na lalagyan ng layer mask. Kasi doon ka magre-remove or magre-restore ng areas. And then, just click this button. At magkakaroon na ng ganitong thumbnail. Okay? Yung white thumbnail natin here. Now, kung mapansin ninyo class, itong white na to, no, andyan siya. Ibig sabihin, kapag ito, purely white yan, may kita mo tong image na yan. Let me zoom this in. Yan, kahit medyo mag-blur na or mag-pixelated ng konti. Etong white thumbnail na to, ayan, kapag lahat yan, buo yan, white, ibig sabihin 100%, makikita mo yung image na naka-project dito. Pero once na nalagyan na to ng ibang kulay, let's say color black, yung black area na yun, yun yung hindi mo na view dun sa image. That's why, sabi ko kanina, tandaan yung color na black tsaka white. Okay? So now, let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say, nag-click ako sa brush tool, tapos, gagamit ako ng black color. I can just click this to switch between colors. So, foreground, kaya I can just click this, tapos select ko lang yung black. Diba? So, meron akong brush. Brush. Tapos gusto kong gamitin yung default lang. Yan, adjust ko yung hardness. Size, ayan. So, meron akong brush. Tapos class, pwede natin gawin to. Pwede natin i-click yung white thumbnail na to. Tapos mag-brush over tayo ng black. Maybe dito sa bandang eyes. So, mag-brush ako ng black. And as you can see, wala naman talaga tayo nakikita ng black color, diba? Though I'm using brush tool, I have this black. Wala tayo nakikita ng black color. But rather, pansinin niyo yung layers panel niyo noon, class. Dito, dun sa layer mask, mapansin niyo na yung white canvas mo dyan, nagkaroon siya na parang black spot doon. So, technically, kapag meron kang layer mask at nag-paint over ka ng black, instead na black makita mo, ang ginagawa niya, nire-remove na lang niya yung area na yon. Ine-erase na lang niya. Not totally erase, but parang tinatanggal niya lang yung visibility sa atin na pwede natin pa rin namang i-restore. But how? To restore, switch mo lang to. Select mo lang yung white. Tapos, para maka-assure ka, i-click mo yan. Sige, yung thumbnail. Tapos, mag-paint over tayo ng white. Though, gaya ng black, di natin nakikita yung whites, but still, ang ginagawa niya, ginagawa niya visible pa rin yung area kung saan tayo nag-paint over ng white. And then, yun, mapapansin nyo dito yung canvas natin. I mean, yung layer mask natin, purely white na siya. So, meaning, lahat dito ngayon ay visible na. Okay? So, sa layer mask class, mag-a-add ka ng layer mask, gato lang. Ito yung button. Tapos magkakaroon ng white thumbnail. Siyempre, to display everything muna. And then, if you want to remove some things, you can just switch over here or select mo yung black. Tapos paint over ka ng black dun sa areas na gusto mong mawala. So, kapag black, remove. Kapag white, display. Kapag black, disappear. Kapag white, restore. Pwedeng pang restore. No? So, let's say in my case, gusto ko hindi siya totally erase kasi napakalakas ng erase niya. Pwede kong bawasan yung opacity dito. Okay? Bawasan opacity ng brush panel ko. I mean, ng brush tool ko. So, para pag nag-erase, hindi ganun kalakas yung ayan. Pag-remove ng visibility sa atin ng image. Diba? So, I can paint over white. Tapos, pwede kong ibalik ng opacity. So, tandaan, para hindi ganun kalakas yung erase or pag-restore ng part or area, just adjust the opacity. One more thing is, sabi ko kanina, tandaan nyo yung color na black, white. Black, remove. White, restore or appear. Gray is semi-restore, semi-delete. Parang gano'n. Kumbaga parang nag-adjust ka lang ng opacity. Let me show you, class. Kapag dito sa foreground, sinelect ko gray. Yan, para pinaghalong, may nire-remove ka pero konti lang. So, in-adjust ko siya into gray. Then, pag nag-paint over ka dyan, ng gray, ayan, konti lang yung na-erase niya. Kasi nga, yung strength ng black mahina. No? Naka-gray lang siya. So, in class yung layer mask. So, in my case, ang gagawin ko dito is i-adjust ko yung hardness. Siguro mga 30%. Yan. Tapos, mag-paint over ako dito. Yan, ng black. Taas pa rin yata yung ating hardness. I mean, smoothness. Yan. So, I can just paint over here para maka-assure ka, click mo itong thumbnail na white. I can just paint over yung black or medyo gray na color. Like that. Yan. So, just to display some things doon. And I can adjust actually yung opacity din. Okay. Tapos kapag may mga areas na let's say nasobrahan, halimbawa, meron kayong ginawang selection. Imagine natin, magnetic lasso tool o kaya nag-create ka ng selection using pen tool, tapos meron kayong selection, tapos napansin mo na nag-zoom ka, ay may sobra pala akong selection, etc. Kailangan mapino pa rin yung selection ko, tapos mga areas na yun, pwede ka mag-add ng layer mask. Tapos, habang naka-add ka ng layer mask na ganyan, you can just paint over black or white to fine-tune your selection. Kasi meron ka ditong black. Tapos, yung hardness, pwede nating adjust dito yung hardness, kung gaano yung hardness niya. Tapos you can just paint over, not actually black, it should be white actually. Ayan, white to restore some things here. Kasi kumbaga nasobrahan yung erase natin sa area na to. Pero sa mga selection, you can use black nun. No? Para ma-remove po yung other parts na gusto natin tanggalin. Yeah, so I guess okay na yung part na yan. Okay? So that's how you use class a layer mask. So pwedeng ring gamitin sa mga ganitong way to create a composite image like 2 or more images, blending 2 or more images. Like that. So yun yung layer mask. Pag layer mask, involving black, white, gray. Ayun nga. So, I would like you to try it, of course. Okay. yung layer mask. Lastly is yung clipping mask natin. So si clipping mask is yung pinakamadaling masking technique. Nasa module to, okay? Page 86. Ito yung pinakamadaling technique na masking. So ang idea ng clipping mask classes ganito. Let's say meron kang gift. Let's say merong gift na ibibigay or maybe mga laruan. Tapos i-gift wrapping natin sila. Pwedeng ganun. Pwede nyo imaginein na si clipping mask para siyang yun yung gift wrapper. So sa clipping mask kasi may requirement. Dapat meron kang object and then meron ka nung mask. Yun yung requirement. May object ka tsaka mask. So kumbaga meron kang object tsaka gift wrapper. Yung wrapper, susundan niya yung shape ng object. No, kapag binalot mo yung object using the gift wrapper. So sa clipping mask, ganun din yung idea niya. So let me show you how. Create ako ng new file. Tapos create ako ng new layer. Okay, mag-alala sa clipping mask, wala kayong i-click dito. Okay? Si layer mask lang yun, yung may kiniklik ka dyan. So add layer mask, gano'n. Si clipping mask, wala nang gano'n. Basta ang requirement lang, meron kang object, meron kang mask. So from here, let's say create tayo ng object. Actually, I can use yung mga shapes na meron ako dyan. Or let's say meron kang customized shape, let's say using pen tool. Yung iba ginagamit nila si clipping mask sa mga digital painting nila para daw mas malinis yung coloring. Yan, yung iba ginagamit nila yon. So sa pen tool, I'd like to create an object. Say, yan. Ayan, kunyari meron tayo. Normal object lang. Polygonal style na lang. Okay. And then from here, I'd like to have this a fill color. So what I can do here is I can right click this and then fill path. Tapos, select ako ng color na gusto ko. Maybe this color. And then click OK. Yan. And then I can delete yung mga path natin. So right click, delete path. Yan. So polygonal style ng ano natin. Parang origami style. Yan. So now, I have this object. Okay? So sabi ko nga sa inyo kanina, ang requirement sa clipping mask, dapat meron kang object. And yung mask itself. Okay? So I can now find some image maybe from here. Okay, let me try yung nasan yung ito. So drag ko lang image na yan. And ito na. And then from here, meron tayong object. Ito na yung magiging mask natin or clipping mask. Now, pag meron tayong clipping mask, I advise na dapat yung mask mas malaki kaysa dun sa object. If, let's say, maliit yung mask ninyo, like this, pwede naman natin lakihan, but I suggest dapat mas maganda yung quality ng gagamitin nating mask. Kung image man yun. So, like this. Yan. So sir, sabi mo kanina, ang requirement sa clipping mask is meron akong object, meron akong mask. Tapos si mask para siyang gift wrapper. Meron na akong class ay sir ng object at saka ng mask. Ano yung next step? Ito na yung final step. Ang final step is mag-right click ka lang dito sa layer na to. Ayan, mag-right click ka lang dito sa mask mo. And then create clipping mask. So when you do that, para magiging gift wrapper siya, parang babalutin niya yung object. And ayun, you'll see here, as I'm active sa layer na to, I can still move the object. Ayan, like that. Okay. Pag nasobrahan, as you can see, nakikita nyo pa rin yung color, original color nung ano natin kanina, ng object. But, yan, I can just drag this image. And there, as you can see, yun yung clipping mask. Sir, pwede ko bang galawin din yung object? Yes, pwede. So, click mo yung layer ng object, tapos move around this object. Pwede. Okay? Pwedeng resize? Pwede. So let's say clipping mask, gusto nating i-resize. So Control T. Pwede ko siyang i-resize like that. Or pwede lakihan natin. Oops. Yan. Or pwedeng makancel yung mask. Clipping mask, yes, pwede. Right-click lang dun sa clipping mask na yan, tapos release clipping mask. Ganun lang. So again, right-click, release clipping mask. And then there, babalik sa dati yung ating mga layers. Diba? Pwede rin gamitin to class sa ibang way. Let's say yung next meeting natin. I'll try pero baka probably tomorrow. Check natin. Kasi kumbaga yung discussion na to, it should be last week. Pero since nagkaroon ng holiday, so di tayo nakapag discuss, tapos kulang yung hours natin on Tuesday. So, ayun. Kaya ngayon natin ginagawa yung discussion. But, let's see. Okay, baka tomorrow yung next. No, I mean, tama, holiday bukas, tama ba? Tama ba? Mamaya ako lang nagde-declare. Hindi, wala pa namang sinasabi. But, I believe holiday bukas. So, inform ko na lang kayo kung meron tayo. Kung maka-cancel ba, malipat, etc. or what. Okay, so continue tayo. Again, ang requirement sa clipping mask class is, let's say I can use text. Oops. I can use text. Let's say, nung kinlik ko yung text tool, ito yung P na to. Ayan. Ito, nakapag-type ako actually, so pwede ko siyang i-select. Dito sa option bar, pwede ko mag-select ng color. Ayan, tinype natin nature. And I can resize this actually. Pwede natin siya resize. So yung next topic natin, mag-focus tayo sa text. Okay. About sa text. Next meeting. Okay. So ito yung magiging object natin, yung text. Tapos, i-add ko ngayon yung image na to. Like that. I can just resize it kasi gagawin ko siyang mask. So from here, class, ito na yung object natin. Yung text, ito na yung magiging mask. And then right-click lang, tapos create clipping mask. And there na yung ating clipping mask. Example. Yan. Alright, class. So that's basically clipping mask, layer mask, brush tool and eraser, other tools like dodge, burn, clone, red eye patch, spot healing, adjustment layers, etc.